Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 17 of the Walk with Ethan Hockey Podcast. I'm your host, Ethan Black, and today we're done with the games from Tuesday, May 26th for Monday, June 1st. I do apologize for not having no episode on Thursday. I just got busy, so to make it up, figure let's do a big episode from the past week. And so let's just not waste any time. We're just going to jump right into it. Start with Tuesday, May 26th, last week I recorded. Kicking off with Game 4 of the Western Conference final between Vegas Golden Knights and Colorado Avalanche. Avalanche fits in the Golden Knights, and Vegas went on home ice with the score up 2-1. Cole Smith get his third of the playoffs, 14 minutes 15 into the third period, and the only goal coming from Colorado Avalanche was Gabriel Landeskog getting his six of the season, 17:57 in the third period, and Vegas wins the series 4-0. So they have punched their ticket to the Stanley Cup Finals. I believe this is their second or third time entering the finals of the Stanley Cup. So they'll meet the winner of the Carolina Montreal series. But your three stars are all three from Vegas Golden Knights. Mark Stone, your first star. Cole Smith, your second star. And Carter Hart is your third star. And we're going to jump over to Wednesday, May 27th. We have Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Final between Carolina Hurricanes and Montreal Canadiens. Montreal hosting Carolina, and Carolina just destroys them 4-0. So Carolina takes that series 3-1. And by the way, here's the shots on goal in total. Carolina had 44, Montreal only 18. That's actually kind of sad. Andre Scott now get his third of the playoffs in an empty net, 18:06 into the third period. So your three stars all from Carolina Hurricanes. Jordan Staal, your first star. Nikolai Ehlers, your second star. And K. Andre Miller is your third star. So Carolina looks to end it on Friday. No games on Thursday, May 28th. That was actually supposed to be Game 5 between Vegas and Colorado. So we jump over to Friday, May 29th. We have Game 5 between Carolina and Montreal. Carolina this time hosted Montreal, and they did absolutely just made them their bitch with the score of 6-1. Seth Jarvis getting his third of the playoffs, empty net 16-19 in the third period. So Carolina takes the series 4-1 in 5 games. So they'll meet Vegas Golden Knights in the Stanley Cup Finals, and this will be the first time Carolina's made it to the finals since 2006, so 20 years ago. Ironically, Rob Brind'Amour was the player on that team, not now he's going as a coach. So your three stars, Langston coming from Carolina Hurricanes, Mark Drosky, your second star, and Frederick Anderson, your third star, all from Carolina Hurricanes. So that was the Friday. We were supposed to have no games on Saturday. That was supposed to be Game 6 between Vegas and Colorado. No games on Sunday, the 31st, because he was supposed to be between Montreal and Carolina. That would have been Game 6. And no games yesterday because that was supposed to be between Vegas and there. So just previewing the upcoming game. So we have the finals starting tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Vegas Golden Knights and Carolina Hurricanes is Game 1 of 7. Vegas facing Carolina. So that series is. Let me just bring up the best of 7 here. Just before I forget. So game 1 will be tonight, June 2nd. Game 2 will be Thursday, June 4th. Game 3 Saturday, June 6th. Game 4 Tuesday, June 9th. And 5 for 7. If it goes to those 3 games, Game 5 will be Thursday, June 11th. Game 6 Sunday, June 14th, and Game 7 will be Wednesday, June 17th. So games 1, 2, 5, and 7 Vegas will visit Carolina. Those are all at 8 p.m. But all this series is all 8 p.m. Eastern. Games 3, 4, and 6, Carolina will visit Vegas. And my prediction, legend, I have Vegas becoming 2-time Stanley Cup champions, winning it in 7 games. So that is my Stanley Cup prediction. So like I said, game 1 will be tonight. No games tomorrow, and then on Thursday, June 4th, at 8 p.m. as well, Vegas will be back with Carolina for game 2. So basically every second day. So pretty much like that schedule. So tonight, and then Thursday, and then Saturday, and then Monday. So yeah, pretty much every second day. So that is your NHL stuff. And then we're gonna actually jump down to the American Hockey League, continuing their Calder Cup playoffs. There's no games on Tuesday, May 26th, so we're just gonna jump right to May 27th. Game 1 in the Eastern Conference Final, or the first semifinal between Wilkes-Barre Penguins, who are the represent the Atlantic Division, take on the Toronto Marlies, represent the North Division. And game one, Penguins hosting the Marlies, and the Marlies get the win with a score of 4-2. So Marlies take that series 1-0. And then on Thursday, May 28th, we go to the Pacific Division. The Western Conference Final, the other semifinal. Colorado Eagles, who are the Pacific Division winners, take on the Central representative Chicago Wolves, and the Wolves get the win on Eagles home ice with the score of 3-2. So Chicago takes that series 1-0. Then Friday, May 29th, we go back to Eastern Conference Final, Game 2 between Toronto and Wilkes-Barre Penguins. Penguins again hosted Marlies, and Marlies won in controversial fashion, 2-1 in overtime. And the reason why I say controversy because Marlies did originally score because the Penguin goalie, I forget the goalie's name, so I do apologize. Looked like he touched originally, so the Penguins were trying to say it was goalie interference. They refuted it, and basically from a video review, the referee has announced that Marlies have won the game. If you look at the replay, the goalie does originally block it, hit it with his blocker, and then win the net. So that's why they didn't call it contra. And you can see the Penguins captain being pissed. Honestly, I actually can't follow the Penguins. I'd be kind of pissed off too about that. But the Marlies take the series 2-0. So, and we go over to Saturday, May 30th, Game 2 in the Western Conference Final between Colorado Eagles in Chicago. And Colorado again hosting Chicago, and they get the win on home ice with the score of 5-2. So we have that series tied up at 1 apiece. No game Sunday, May 31st, and no game. So we had a game on Monday, June 1st. Game 3 between Toronto Marlies and Penguins. This time the Marlies are hosting the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins, and the Penguins get the win on Marlies ice with a score of 5-3. So that series is 2-1 now. And then tonight, tonight here, Game 3 between Chicago and Colorado Eagles. This time Chicago is hosting the Colorado Eagles, and that game will be at 8 p.m. Eastern. So, and then Wednesday, June 3rd, we actually got both games on tap here from East and West Conference. So this will be Game 4 between Wilkes-Barre and Toronto Marlies. Marlies will host Penguins again. And this will also be Game 4 between Colorado and Chicago, and the Eagles will be back with Chicago on Chicago Wolves home ice. And that's also at 8 p.m. Eastern. So now, moving on to other hockey news. We'll start with the IHF 2026 Men's World Championships. I'm not going to go over the entire groups just because it was started on May 15th, which that's probably my fault. I did forget about it. So what I'm just going to do is talk about the quarterfinals and the semifinals of the middle games. So the quarterfinals are on that would be day 13 of this tournament. That would be May 28th. So the quarterfinals were Finland takes on Czech Republic, Canada against the United States, Switzerland versus Sweden, and Norway versus Latvia. So the quarterfinal results are Finland beats Czech Republic score 4-1. Canada beats the United States 4-0. Switzerland beats Sweden 3-1, and Norway beat Latvia 2-0. On day 14, May 30th, we had the semifinals. So the losers of the tournament will in the semifinals meet in the bronze medal, and the winners will meet in the gold medal game on Sunday. So Switzerland beat Norway 6-0, and Finland in the I'd say kind of upset win beats Canada with a score of 4-2. Then we go to day 15, Sunday, May 31st, bronze and gold medal games. The bronze medal game was for me was in the morning. So that would have been 9:20 a.m. Eastern, so 10:20 my time. Norway beating Canada 3-2 in overtime. And by the way, both of these medal games did go to overtime, by the way. So Norway beats Canada 3-2 in overtime. Congratulations to Norway. And by the way, first time since the 80s that Canada has not won any of the WHL titles, World Juniors, and the Olympics. So, yay. And then the gold medal games, Finland beats Switzerland 1-0 in overtime. So that is your IHF stuff. And now we're going to jump over to CHL Memorial Cup. They just ended on Sunday. So on Tuesday, when we last recorded, the last update was day 4. Rangers beat Everton 6-2. So then on May 26th, day 5 of Memorial Cup, Kitchener Rangers versus the OHL defeating the Shikumi Saguenay with a score of 3-2. Day 6, May 27th, Ever Surgeons defeated the Colorado Rockets with a score of 4-0. Battle of the WHL teams here. So basically, the final scenario is going in that the battle of the WHL games. So if ever won, then it would be them versus Shikumi in the semifinal. If Kelowna got one goal over Everett, if Kelowna would have gone to the semifinals, and Everett and Shikumi would have been in a tiebreaker game. But if Kelowna scored two, yeah, scored two or more, I think, yeah, they would have went as well. So, oh no, I apologize. If they got one or more, Kelowna and Shikumi would have been in the tiebreaker game. If Everett was still in semifinals. But if they got two or more, then Kelowna would have been in the semifinals. And Everett and Shikumi would have been in a tiebreaker game. That was actually supposed to be on Thursday, but no tiebreakers necessary. So then on Friday, May 29th, 9 p.m. Eastern, the only semifinal game, WHL representative Everett Silvertooth defeated Shikumi Saguenay with a score of 6-1. So Everett will be Kitchener Ridgers in the finals of the Memorial Cup. And by Kitchener, they clean sweep the round robin, winning 3-0. So going undefeated 3-0. So, and speaking of Kitchener, they are now your three-time Memorial Cup champions as they defeat the Everett Silvertooth with a score of 6-2. That was on Sunday, May 31st at 7 p.m. Eastern. So congratulations to the Kitchener Rangers and the OHL for winning that. And the close of this week's episode, we'll talk about the ECHL for the Kelly Cup playoffs. So the Eastern Conference, Florida Everblades do win that series, being the North Division champions Wheeling Nailers with a score of in 5 games, so 4-1. So on May 27th, on Game 3, 7:10 p.m. Eastern, the Everblades beating Wheeler Nailers with a score of 5. They were on their home ice. Game 4, May 29th, also 7:10 p.m. Eastern. But games 3 for 5, the Nailers were hosting the Everblades. So Game 4, like I said, May 29th, 7:10 p.m. Eastern, the Nailers beat the Everblades 3-2 in overtime to avoid a clean sweep. But on May 30th, that was Game 5, also 7:10 p.m. Eastern, the Everblades do defeat the Nailers with a score of 6-1. So Game 6, so no games for 6, but they would have to actually would have happened. Game 6 would have been last night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And Game 7 would have been actually tomorrow, June 3rd at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. So Everblades are your Eastern Conference winners, and they will take on the winners of the four-way conference Kansas City Mavericks division series. Sorry, my apologies. And speaking of that series, we go to that Western Conference Finals now, as that series is 3-2. So on game, excuse me. So Game 4, May 26th, 7:35 p.m. Eastern, Kansas City Mavericks were in four-way comments. Four-way comments were hosting the Mavericks there. That sounds a lot better. And the Mavericks do defeat them with a score of 4-2. Before on May 31st, Game 5, comments again hosting the Mavericks, and they get the win with the whopping score of 4-1. So we are going to Game 6 here. Actually, tonight, 8:05 p.m. Eastern. The comments are facing the Mavericks. And if comments win, then we are having Game 7 actually tomorrow night at 8:05 p.m. Eastern. But if Mavericks win tonight, then they will face the Everblades in the finals of the 2026 Kelly Cup. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's your show for this week. I'm your host. I should be back on Thursday. If not, should be. I'm going to try to record for early Thursday, but I might be. Or tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated. It might be tomorrow or Thursday or next week. I'll keep you guys updated. But that is the episode for this week. I'm your host. I'll be back sometime soon to talk about the Stanley Cup and other playoffs. So have a good week, guys, and stay safe.